Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So welcome to another Market Open stream. Today, unfortunately, we have some bad news from the state of New York. Lawmakers have just passed Bitcoin mining ban. So what does this mean exactly for Bitcoin miners overall, ones that are in New York? What does this mean for Bitcoin? And do we have any chance to salvage this? Well, let's discuss, among other things, that's going on today. So let's get started. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified of all my streams. Follow me on social media. Check out CryptosRUs.com. And make sure you follow the brand new CryptosRUs Clips channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, everyone. Hopefully you guys are hanging in there. Well, looking at Bitcoin, unfortunately, we were as high as 30,600 last night. We dropped about 1,000 points, but it does look like Bitcoin is holding and wants to recover. And unfortunately, I do believe we got a little setback because of what was announced this morning, which I won't get to right now. If you look at the overall stock market, U.S. stock market is about to open soon in negative territory. Although we did get some pretty good news about payroll. So you could see payroll over here rose 390,000 in May, which means that companies still hired and hired more than expected. So right now, even though there is a lot of fear about companies not doing so well, we have heard of a lot of big companies saying they're laying off staff, they're they're putting on a hiring freeze, right? Look at Elon right now, says he feels super bad about the economy and needs to cut 10% in Tesla jobs. Well, this payroll number actually kind of countered that because this was way higher than expected. So there are still a lot of companies that are still hiring. Now, of course, it's a lagging indicator and lagging statistic, I should say, and maybe it does start slowing down in the coming months. But right now, that was actually a pretty positive economic data that came out this morning, although futures right now is still red. However, the bigger topic at play this morning has to be this new bill that just passed from New York lawmakers to ban Bitcoin mining that run on carbon-based power sources. So basically, anything that is not 100% pure green energy, okay? Anything else, any other operations, any, whether it's, I don't know, if it's not like solar or I guess, hydroelectric or wind-powered, right? Everything else is basically being banned in the state of New York. Now, there is one asterisk there. We may get saved by the governor who still has to sign this, or she could veto it. But it's very unlikely that she's going to veto this. It's very likely that she's just going to go through with it because both sides, it seems like in New York, has decided to pass this, right? So what does this mean overall? Well, there's a lot of things to cover here. First of all, from Pomp actually summarized this pretty well, right? Pomp, I saw, just tweeted this not too long ago talking about this and how Bitcoin mining protects a person's private property, right? Bitcoin is a property. So basically, from a law perspective, not that Pomp is a lawyer, but there could be lawyers looking at this, that this ban could be a violation of Fifth Amendment and unconstitutional, right? I don't know if it's going to get that far, if anyone's going to challenge this up to the state's Supreme Court, but you could argue that, right? That Bitcoin is a personal property. It's private property, and helping to facilitate the network's growth, to secure the network, right, is, that should be within your right. So there's that. So from a law perspective, maybe this gets shut down and gets challenged, right? But outside of that, as for Bitcoin itself, right? Does this mean that other states will follow New York? If other states, are they going to be very anti-Bitcoin mining and anti-Bitcoin mining or anti-Bitcoin overall, right? Well, here's the thing. Luckily, we do have states that are pro-Bitcoin and pro-Bitcoin mining. That is why there's a lot of Bitcoin miners, hubs, farms that are moving to Texas. Texas is welcoming Bitcoin mining, right? So not everyone is going to be following suit. I mean, in fact, not just Texas is welcoming miners, but even cities within Texas, like Fort Worth, is going to be mining Bitcoin themselves. In fact, they're going to be running mining rigs out of their city hall, right? So there are a lot of pro states out there. There's a pro Bitcoin mining. So as a whole, I don't know if this is going to be, I don't know, setting a precedent for other states to follow. I do believe a lot of states, they're very pro Bitcoin. They're not anti-Bitcoin, right? And I'm not so sure that New York itself is so anti-Bitcoin, although there's that bit license that makes New York City very hard to operate in for crypto companies. And that is the reason why the new mayor is actually trying to get rid of that bit license. So the new mayor of New York City seems to be very pro-Bitcoin, right? So I'm not so sure what spurred this. I don't know. But the other thing is, well, what about Bitcoin overall? Is banning of Bitcoin miners in New York going to affect the network? It is 8:30. All right, market opens. Is this ban going to affect the network overall? Well, that's the other question, right? Well, right now it's unknown how many Bitcoin miners or farms or hubs operate in the state of New York. That number, I don't know if anyone has right now. But if you look at Bitcoin's total hash rate right now, okay, it's near all-time high. And throughout, you go back, this only goes back to like 2019, but you could see throughout Bitcoin's history, there's been dips, right? Certain times, Bitcoin miners, they leave the network, something happens, right? There's been dips. The biggest dip that we have ever experienced is this one, where Bitcoin mining hash rate dropped about half when China kicked out all the miners, right? But what happened afterwards? Well, other miners just made up for the network hash rate, and we are way past that now and towards an all-time high, right? So in terms of global, I guess the global hash rate, I don't think this ban is going to even register. Okay, there's a ton more mining that's happening worldwide and everywhere else in other states. So I don't even think it's going to register. Even if it does, you know what? Bitcoin's network is just fine. This is not going to affect it. But nevertheless, this is the big news of today. Obviously not a good news, right? And I guess we will see. I mean, there's still a slight chance that the governor can veto this, so this just goes away. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem like that's gonna be the case. And according to this key point, if it passes, it would make New York the first state in the country to ban blockchain technology infrastructure, right? Because of proof of work and how so many people feel like proof of work is just a drain on the power grid, and it's just so energy intensive and it's polluting the hell out of the earth. There's so many that argues that, but if you look at the energy usage of Bitcoin's network, it's smaller than so many other industries out there. So Bitcoin is still being attacked on this front. But many are starting to realize, well, Bitcoin is not something that you could just shut down. Bitcoin is not something that'll just go away. So you may attack it however you want, but Bitcoin will survive. And it all comes out stronger than ever. All right, so that's the main headline story of today, of course. And let's see what the market is at. Dow's at negative 200. NASDAQ is at almost negative 200 too. So today is not a good day for NASDAQ. Minus 1.57%, although Bitcoin is coming back up. We could see 30,000 right around the corner again. So overall, Bitcoin, even though this looks horrific, it's because I'm on a smaller time frame. This is really, not horrific due to the New York story, right? But let's see what else is going on. I did talk about the jobs report, even though there are a lot of companies. Like yesterday, I covered Gemini saying they're freezing, hiring. Coinbase saying they're freezing hiring. Tesla this morning, Elon just said he's cutting 10% of workforce, right? And many other companies have said they're freezing hiring too. But this came in better than expected. Payroll rose 390,000, in May, and unemployment is still at 3.6%, lowest level since 1969. So unemployment is still very low. Companies are still desperate for labor right now. There still seems to be a shortage of labor. So I don't know. It just seems like it's just certain companies that wants to freeze. Other companies are still hiring as much as they can in order to operate. So let's see what happens next month. And later this month, not later this week, we will get some CPI data to kind of gauge how inflation is, right? And this all ties into it because obviously supply chain, labor, energy, all that stuff all ties into how the government will be or how the economy will be going into the latter half of this year. All right, what else is there? Well, as for Bitcoin, this is an interesting question. Some people have asked me, how will Bitcoin do in a recession, right? And the answer is we don't know. Bitcoin has never been in a true recession. Maybe in 2020, if you count that sudden drop, like a quick recession, but like a true prolonged recession, Bitcoin has never been through because Bitcoin was created after the last one, after the last big recession / correction, right, with the market back in 2009, but it was right after the housing bubble 2008, right? But Will Komet makes this interesting point that what the Fed is doing right now, right, is unprecedented. The most aggressive rate change in the funds rate in the history of the Fed, all right? And we know that they are doing this because we just had unprecedented printing of money. We have never, ever, ever had $4, $5, $6 trillion printed and being basically handed out, right, due to this pandemic. So we have never seen that before. That's why the Fed is going to super hawkish and aggressive with the rate hikes, unless things do change later this year. But it does show you how strong Bitcoin is. So even though Bitcoin has not gone through a complete recession, right? It has gone through the last 6 months already, right? And looking at this fund rate change from the Fed, I mean, it's just crazy to look at. But Bitcoin is still surviving. And people that argue, well, Bitcoin can't survive when there's not enormous amount of money being thrown into the market, well, I think it's proving otherwise because it's still 10 times higher than 2020, right? So it's an interesting question. I get asked that periodically, but I do think that Bitcoin is definitely going to survive if the remaining of this year, the U.S. goes into recession, and economic slowness happens, and the markets dump even more, right? I think Bitcoin will survive. It's not going to be as disastrous as some may theorize. Okay, so just to put things into perspective, of course, there are a lot of people that are charting Bitcoin's current trajectory and path, and looking at what has happened before in previous downturns. And here's one. this is a fractal pattern using, you know, certain angles and certain lines, and you can see that it's held true the last two big corrections, right? So this is from Stock Money. You could see the decline. If you go back all the way from the left to the right, the decline was a 56% decline. And then you had a couple times where Bitcoin tested that support line or trend line, then it found a bottom, double bottom, and then it started recovering, right? And it happened in 2017, 2018, 2019, right? And now we're looking at the same thing once again. Interesting. So again, one of those charts that show that we are recovering from bottom already. Just it's a slow recovery, but we are recovering. And here's another one that shows kind of the same thing with U-shaped rounded bottom, double bottoms, and recovery, right? Again, this goes back to 2012 and then 2015, 2019, and then where we are now starting from 2021. So there are still many charts that show good things are coming. That's why you have to be patient and ignore all the FUD that is happening right now, right? And lastly, I did see this. So this moment, and this is just a short clip of Anatoly, who is the founder of Solana, okay? And I don't know when this came out, but this is one of those clips that reminds me of like Do Kwon being very cocky, like right before Terra and USD collapsed, right? Basically kind of poking fun of other chains and saying that they're the best, you know, stuff like that, right? So Charles just answered or just responded to this clip, okay? And if you didn't watch this, take a look or take a listen at this, okay? Because I think it's important. If you didn't watch this, take a look, listen at this, okay? Because I think it's important. If you didn't watch this, hold on, let me make sure that I don't have anything. Listen at this, okay? Are you guys hearing the sound right now? If you didn't watch this, hold on, let me make sure that I don't have anything. Are you guys hearing any sound right now? Are you guys hearing the sound right now? If you didn't watch this, hold on, let me make sure that I don't have anything. Are you guys hearing any sound right now? Hearing the sound right now? Still a lot of echo? Hold on, let me make sure that I don't have. I removed the. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, I think I fixed the echo issue. Here, listen to this.
So I'm going to say Cardano next. And that is because I used to be a Haskell programmer. The approach that they're taking is so extremely like esoteric with like such a huge stick up their ass about correctness that this is why they're never going to ship. And it's almost like, they're trying, right? They're trying to build something that is like a cathedral. As an engineer that had to ship code, like, you know, and get paid for it. It's just that stuff doesn't work. You got to like swallow, you know, like kiss a couple frogs in your design and like ship stuff and just get it done. And so Polkadot also is kissing frogs, right? And
all right. So, yeah, you know, see, this is why it reminds me of Do Kwon and his like very cocky clips before the demise, because this is what it's sounding like. Anatoly of Solana is basically poking fun of Cardano for being too careful. They have a stick up their ass, and they're so correct about everything, right? And this comes after the fact that Solana just suffered 2 network outages and the countless ones before, right? So is their method really correct to just rush things out rather than be correct in the first place, right? And that's what Charles is arguing. So the primary criticism of Cardano writes software carefully when billions of dollars are at stake from millions of users and thousands of businesses rely on the infrastructure for their livelihood. I like to see these guys build a hospital, right? So in this case, I fully agree with Charles. It's like, yeah, you're building a piece of software, and yeah, there will be problems, but there are a lot of people that's invested in Solana, that has a lot of money in Solana. So it's not just, you know, it's not just code anymore. people's livelihood and money is at stake, right? So you should not be so nonchalant about, yeah, we just like rush things out. You just gotta swallow the pill and just push things out. That's not how it should be, right? So I think these guys are probably gonna regret saying that on a podcast, especially after we saw what happened with Terra, because Do Kwon was kind of the same way. He was a young guy, immature, really boastful about how good they had it and trying to attack other chains. He attacked Cardano before too, and look at what happened now, right? So I think being a little humble at this point. Any project should just really just be humble. Like, there's no need to be attacking. Just be humble. It's going to get you a lot more respect than trying to act like cocks, basically. All right. That is pretty much it. Let's do some Q&A. Sorry about that, Go. Whenever I play a clip, usually a little bit off. So markets are still holding the same. Bitcoin is still holding the same. Yeah, this is the big news of the day. Will you play me in Texas Hold'em heads-up match for Solana bags? Yeah, I'll take you up on that. I like to think I'm a pretty good poker player, but I haven't really played any pros, just family and friends. Storm detector. Don't give me ideas. Terra Classic will outlive Terra 2.0. I don't know. They'll probably both live on forever. It's really hard to kill crypto. I mean, crypto projects, they don't seem to die. Excuse me. That video makes me want to pull Solana for ADA. I mean, see, here's the thing. It's like, this is why I've said, just be humble. Just be humble. I don't know what it is with these leaders. And sometimes I guess, you're just chatting with the guys or whatever. But I mean, in that clip, they're making fun of Cardano. They're attacking Cardano for being too careful, yet they have their own issues that they haven't solved yet, right? So it's like, why not just be humble about it? Then you don't have this type of issue. But I mean, Solana had such a good year. People tend to overlook these things. I mean, 2021, I talked about Solana plenty, made plenty of money with Solana. Many people did, right? But now they're kind of struggling when things aren't so cheery, right? So yeah, I think people, again, there's too much tribalism in crypto, and I think people should just be more humble and supportive of everyone else. You don't have to bash someone else just to try to pump your own bags. And even projects themselves do that, unfortunately. Some projects are doing renewable BTC mining. Australian mining token, for example, for their buy, back, and burn. Okay. Never even heard of that Australian mining token. Solana, next Luna, Sol 2.0. Probably too soon. Too soon for that. Let's go Celtics. Man, Celtics was amazing. Last night, and they came back, hit shot after shot. I got to give a shout out to Celtics. I've said I'm not a big fan of the Celtics, but they they really know how to play team ball, and they played amazing yesterday. Jeff, thank you. Mike, any idea what's going to happen with miners after the last BTC is mined? Well, they will still support the network. They'll still get fees based on processing transactions. Anyways, that's in 140 years, so you're probably not going to be around to see that. Do you think the ETH merge will go smoothly? Well, I'm thinking so. I mean, they've been preparing for a very long time. They're going to do the testnet merge first and learn from that. And if everything goes well, then they'll apply to the main chain, and it should be pretty smooth. Crypto boys, just want to say appreciate the content. Always steady and keep things positive. Appreciate you. Thank you guys. I'll check out your channel in a little bit. Classy Escape, thank you. Hyundai or Honda for fast hatch? Honda doesn't even have any fast hatches anymore. Although I did just get I got the new Civic Si in my driveway, so I'm gonna review that. I drove it around. It's okay. I thought it would be a little bit better. It look pretty good, but not nearly as good as the Type R. But they're gonna come out the new Type R soon. Hello from Mexico. Welcome. Did I stop making car reviews? No. I still have a lot of reviews on my car channel, drivers only. Is the EV6 okay? Yeah, it's a fantastic EV. Actually, the Ioniq 5 also, which is a sister of the EV6, fantastic. I love the Ioniq 5. I think it's a Tesla Model Y killer. That's how good it is. But it's really hard to get that car. What is your favorite car of all time? I don't have a favorite car of all time. I just have many cars I like, but I don't have one in particular that I think, I have to get. I just like cars overall. Yasin says, I just got the Ioniq 5. Wow. Congratulations. Really hard to find them at dealerships, but it's a fantastic car. Hyundai looked at all the problems that the Model Y had and fixed them. So that's a really good car. I was really impressed with it. Hello from Denmark. Welcome. Today is Friday, right? Every day seems to be the same for me, so I lose track of the day. So today is Friday. So I guess it's, more casual chat today. Yeah, Fridays I don't have a stream at night, so I'm not going to be streaming at night. I might be putting out a video in the afternoon just to keep you guys educated until tomorrow, just FYI. How's the U.S. market looking? Oh, not so good. NASDAQ is still negative 2%. Dow's negative 280. Man, a lot of Elon news today. Twitter deal faces backlash from advocacy groups that are seeking to block it. Why? Why do they want to block it? Twitter needs to be rehauled, all right? And there's only one guy that could do it, so why block it? And according to this, Tesla shares dip. Let's see how much they dipped. Ooh. Tesla's down 7% today. Wow. Yeah, not good. No, I'm telling you, the Honda Civic Type R, I mean, you have to wait for the new one, I think another year or so. But the old one, the 2021, I'd say the 2020 and 2021. I think 2021 is the last one. They had some minor changes. It's too, I don't know, boy racer like from the exterior look to Rice, but that is a fantastic car. It's one of the funnest cars I've ever driven. It's not the fastest, but from a driver's perspective, it's really hard to beat that car. It's really, really good. So I highly recommend anyone to just go drive one. You may not, if you're like above 30, you're not gonna buy it because the way it looks, but it's a fantastic car. It's a driver's car for sure. Q Miller, I appreciate that. Yeah, the other day I was talking about, Jeff, I did review the Z. I did review it already. It's on my channel. It wasn't a stick. It was just the automatic, but the Z was not as good as I thought it was. It looks good, but it didn't drive as good and nowhere close to, let's say, the Type R, like not even in the same realm. So it's a little disappointing, but I don't know. Maybe it'll still be a good sales hit for Nissan. I didn't even see the new DeLorean. Everyone's talking about new DeLorean EV. I need to look at that. But yeah, as we're going back to doing what I want to do, yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Life-changing wealth or financial freedom is different for everyone. Just the other day, someone was saying, I enjoy my job. I want to keep working, but I just want to retire early, right? Well, here's the thing. You don't ever have to really retire. You could just do what you want, right? So I made that point, like, I could have retired already if I wanted to, but I can't be not doing nothing. I still do what I do because I really enjoy it, right? I like making videos. I do like making videos. It's part of my life now, right? So that's the thing. Crypto brought that for me. You could argue YouTube also definitely helped with that, but it's just once you reach that goal, then it just opens your life up to whatever you want. The possibilities is endless. Unfortunately, most people are locked into their 9-to-5 job and they are stuck there forever. Doesn't matter where they go, their life is stuck and revolving around their job. But when you attain that financial freedom, you get to set your own schedule. Things are very different, very, very different. So just throwing that out there as something to attain, Johnny, rewind. I don't think anyone talks about WRX anymore. What career did I have? I was in IT. I was a system architect before I started doing this full time. Have I ever driven a Fiat? Actually, I don't think I've ever driven a Fiat car, ever. Ford, what's a good Ford car? The Bronco is a very damn good SUV. I'll say that. The Bronco is an amazing SUV. And you can still get a Bronco and stick if you wanted to, which is very, very rare. But Bronco is definitely a huge success for Ford. Ford knows how to make trucks. I'll tell you another really good truck is the Maverick. Most people will not buy the Maverick because it's a small truck and it doesn't look like a Raptor. But the Maverick is a fantastic budget truck too. It's a really good daily driver truck. Ford knows how to make trucks. And I haven't driven a Lightning yet, but I'm thinking that it's going to be pretty good too. What's the crappiest car you ever had? I had a Saturn SC1 that I bought for like $5K. It was like 20 years old, but it was spanking new because some old lady had it, and it only had like 5,000 miles on it. So I drove that car for a couple years to save on gas. It got like 45 miles per gallon without hybrid or anything. It's just a small little car, but yeah, I don't know. Actually, I don't even know if that's the worst car. I had an old Subaru Outback too. It had 180,000 miles. I bought it for like $2,000 as a winter car because at that time I had a M5 and I didn't want to drive that in the winter, so I bought that, and the engine had to be replaced. So I spent another $2,000 on it. But that symmetrical all-wheel drive was damn good in the snow. I'll tell you that. Supra versus Z, I wouldn't go with the Supra. Supra has a lot more low-end torque. Like, it's not even comparable. The Supra is just so much more torque down below. The Z had, there was some weird lag issue. Like, you put your foot down on the throttle, there's nothing registers for a second, and then it starts moving. And even then, the low-end grunt was just not there. So... And, in terms of looks, it's subjective. I think Supra still looks pretty good. And they got a stick now, too, so I gotta test that out. XHV. I don't know what XHV is. Haven. And it's a little bit too small. The market cap is way too small. I want a Cayman, keep the Lambo. You know what was awesome? The new Porsche GT4. That's based on the Cayman, I believe. I think that actually used the GT3's engine, and it's a true mid-engine, unlike the GT3, which is not. So that actually looks like an amazing car. TRD Pro Sequoia or the Yukon, go with Yukon. Well, if you want reliability, go with Sequoia, but the Sequoia TRD Pro is nothing. Just wheels are changed and a few things change, but it's not a real true TRD Pro. Yukon is superior SUV outside of durability, reliability. Toyota still wins on that, but from everything else, from technology, size, comfort, Yukon wins. The new Corvette is sexy on the outside. Inside is whack. I think the inside's not that bad. A lot of car questions. I should have live chat on my drivers only channel. But whenever I do that, I did it once and it was like 50 people showed up. So it's like, I love to talk about cars, but I know some people get pissed off when I talk about cars because they don't care about cars. But whatever. It's Friday. Johnny, I don't know what car you're thinking about. What family car, SUV or a car? I mean, there's a lot of options. You got to give me some hints. I have not driven a GTR. I still want to. Everyone should check out I Am George channel. Very inspiring. Yes. Especially my earlier videos, kind of talked about my journey into crypto, and I had to go through a lot, and it wasn't always good, right? But I stayed strong, and here I am. So yeah, it's a good reminder of how it was before and the adversities I had to go through. The new Jeep Grand Cherokee is a lot nicer than expected. I mean, the top trim levels are in luxury territory now in terms of price, so it is really good. The one that I reviewed, and I still can't get over how good it is the new Grand Wagoneer. The new Grand Wagoneer, Jeep nailed. It is the best luxury full-size SUV on the planet. It is that good. I mean, yeah, Jeep just really nailed it. Really, really nailed it with the Grand Wagoneer. So I am actually considering getting one. Helium Network. I like Helium Network. I never tried to mine helium, but so many people have told me they have. And basically, it's just offering wireless network in your neighborhood, and you get rewarded handsomely. You actually get rewarded quite a lot. So I think helium is on the right path. Chris, no, trust me. Rolls-Royce, of course, not a different planet, but I own the GLS 580, which is the best Mercedes offers because they don't even produce the AMC anymore. Okay, it's a $140,000 SUV. It does not beat the Grand Wagoneer. So I could tell you based on experience. So that's how good the Grand Wagoneer is. Got an X5 right now, want another SUV. Budget's going to be about $30K. Well, you better get a used one. If you want something reliable, go with a Toyota. I would say go with a Tundra. If you don't mind having a full-size truck, get a Tundra. Tundras are badass. Thoughts on Pi Network? Why doesn't it have any value? Because probably no one uses it. What benefit does only one of your entity has? Well, it's on my page, CryptosRUs.com. It tells you all the benefits. XRP, what do you think if they win against SEC? Well, it'll be good. It could be an industry. It'll be good for an industry and good for them. But I do want to see them win because I don't want to see the SEC overreach. And if they win, they will start overreaching for sure. So, yeah, I would say I really want Ripple to win. My car channel is called Drivers Only. So go check it out if you guys are car guys. Right now, the car industry just sucks because you had to overpay for everything. And it just really sucks. But hopefully supply chain issues start dying down toward the end of this year so we get back to normal. Adam says Model S for me. I'm actually I am Model S right now. I'm Model S Plaid. I'm trading it in. I don't like sedans anymore. So I'm getting a Model X Plaid next week. So I'm looking forward to that. Some crypto keywords are not allowed. I don't know. Well, Akko, what are you trying to say? You're trying to type BTC? Gary Gensler will resign soon. I don't know if he will. He's enjoying that power right now. All right. I think that's pretty much it for Card Chat this morning. Well, Bitcoin is still holding strong, looking like it wants to turn up. But this morning, of course, we got some bad news. Bad news from New York. Just passed a bill to ban Bitcoin mining. But it could be vetoed. We still have a sliver of a chance. But even if it doesn't, here's the thing. This is not going to affect Bitcoin overall. It's not going to affect the miners worldwide or the network. They will continue to thrive, right? But it does show that some states are just not ready for Bitcoin yet, right? Maybe it'll change in the future, but right now they are just not ready. But there are many states that are. So Texas welcomes all the Bitcoin miners right now. Outside of that, the overall market looks like Dow's coming back down a little bit. So that's good. So we could see recovery with the market overall. But yeah, there's still a lot of great things to look forward to, guys. No matter what happens near term, long term, you got to stick with Bitcoin. Can't go wrong with Bitcoin. All right, so smash up the like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. But this afternoon, I'll try to put out another video for you guys. All right, so stay strong, my friends, and take care. And if you are interested in cars, then check out my Drivers Only channel. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.